February 1st, 2017 Zoning Board of Appeals public hearing meetings. I imagine a lot of you are here tonight for the Wall Street development case, so we'll get that going. It's not going to be going forward this night. It's going to be continued to February 15th, but I'll get into that real quick. So we're missing a couple members tonight, and generally we afford applicants a full member board, which is 5 members. Usually we have a member and an alternate, and both of them are out tonight. So we received a letter today from Wall Street Development that it has been brought to my attention the public hearing scheduled for tonight will not have the benefit of a presence of all members of the board in attendance. Given the nature of this special permit being requested, it's essential all members be in attendance during the public hearing. It is requested that the public hearing scheduled for the proposed project be open and immediately continued without testimony until the next scheduled meeting on February 15, 2017 at 7 p.m. It is hoped at this time that all members of the board will be present. So I understand, everybody came out tonight. It's important to have everyone here during the process. So our next meeting on this will be February 15th. I make sure that we have a full complement of the board that night. And I encourage everyone to please come because your comment.
4, 5, 6. I think we applied for 7, but it's actually going to be 6 total. And there'll be an enter-exit for the retail space. You've got three ways in and out of this property.
Are we only doing Dunks?
At this stage, we're only doing the Dunkins, but the retail plaza is probably going to be spring, summer, maybe realistically.
So we're only
but
doing Dunks right now tonight?
No. But the signage requested some are specifically Dunkin' Donuts, enter and exit, and these ones here, E6, E7, which are here, which isn't, the Dunks is here,
just
those
for
are
the street.
general, which is,
But they're not
seem
like
to be
a CVS drive-through or anything?
No,
They're just general
no.
on the street?
Yeah, they're
exit
general, yeah.
enters where the entrances are to the
Yeah,
property.
the Dunkin' Donuts one obviously have a particular look and style because they tie in with the architecture of the building.
Orange, pink, or whatever?
Yeah, and it also kind of ties in with the decor of the building. The buildings are set up with like an orange banding, and it's just kind of a welcoming look, that it brings you into the property. And
So at each entrance, one entrance you have an enter and an exit sign, right? That's
Correct.
And then, but the other one is just a exit sign?
yeah, so what we're
That's just
proposing
exit,
here
yeah.
is, okay, so when you're coming in from Old Post Road, there's an enter-exit, and this is if you're approaching Route 1. So I'll start off with the retail entrance, which is basically I'll call the standard generic enter-exits. They're just the brown square box, rectangle box that you see. That would be these ones here. All right, so that's the first entry, and you guys should have a site plan too, which might be helpful.
But
Come spend more.
procedural, could we do procedural for a minute?
Yeah.
Because, it's a special permit before us, and I was just looking through the signage bylaws, particularly the sections that are quoted, 7.5C and 7.6G. And I don't see anywhere where this board is authorized to issue a special permit. Maybe that's in part of the changes of the bylaw, but I don't have that section of the new bylaw. So I just want to first make sure that this board is authorized.
Well, new as in how new?
Well, they were rejected, by the building inspector because of I think the bylaw or the code, I should probably call it the code, calls for a 1 square foot wayfinding, directional. So that would be a 12-inch by 12-inch sign that would tell you where to go on the property. We think that's too small. And plus, we also, with the Dunkin' Donuts, is a certain brand and look that they want us to comply with for the franchisees to follow, and sign vendors, signs to be manufactured at that particular style and size. So that being said, we wanted to go for the special permit for these particular signs as you see them. So they're probably a little bit bigger than the code allows.
Right.
And like I said, again, he just rejected them because obviously
He signed
the
off.
bylaw was
But,
didn't allow for
Because
it.
he's the zoning enforcement officer,
yeah?
you know.
But where does it say?
It might be a new amendment.
I mean, I don't know what the conditions are that we can issue a special permit under. I don't see a section that says zoning board has the authority to issue a special permit, so something other than what's here. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you, yeah.
So, I mean, generally
Yeah.
speaking, I mean, what I have, at least of the current bylaws, is that effectively the town,
Yeah,
right, at town meeting, has said, these are the types of signs we want in town.
yeah.
End of story. No, we want these kind of
We've been
signs.
doing them, though.
What?
All the billboards we've been doing,
No, but that's
the
under
electronic signs.
electronic, right? And that does say we can issue a special permit.
And see if I can find his letter of rejection. Obviously, for the application to go before the board here, would have to have his letter of rejection. You guys have a copy of that?
I don't.
But it doesn't mean do you have one?
Yeah, the zoning board finds the location. Yeah, I mean, it's right here. This is it, well, this is the application.
He didn't,
Where's his response?
why didn't you sign the application either?
Yeah, here's the permit denial.
For what reason?
I mean, to simplify it, I think if the board doesn't oppose it, he would
Option,
sign
submit
off
a
on
new
it.
sign plan that meets the Walpole bylaws or apply for a special permit with the Walpole zoning board of appeals. I'll find, I think it's in,
He didn't sign the app either.
And just, see, the electronic shall be permitted by special permit.
Where are you reading that?
That,
No, I
that's
saw that,
under
yeah.
6A for electronic signs. This is, if you want to see under the bylaw, you want to come up? Okay, so these are ones that we hear otherwise. So for illumination, right, electronic signs
Yeah.
or similar technology can be permitted by special permit from the zoning board. So in other words, we're authorized to
I'm not going
issue a
back to
special
him,
permit for
tell
this
him
section. Yeah.
you're wrong. I mean, he
But,
says, go
you
get
know,
a special permit.
7.6G, which is one of the areas,
I never remember doing this like the other dunks.
7,
No, I mean, I don't know, I mean, I understand, but then there's no method, I mean.
variance.
Variance?
One sign display.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we're not town meeting, we can't just change the bylaw. I mean, the bylaw is the bylaw. Unless the bylaw says we're authorized to, by special
The
permit.
special permit would be though, is because we want to propose the larger sign and the quantity of signs. I mean, would that fall under special permit?
I mean, if the bylaw says you're supposed to have X number of signs,
Yeah,
then unless it says you can have X number of signs, or you could, you know, by special permit issued by the zoning board, have Y number of signs, right?
Yeah.
So that would authorize this board to consider Y as opposed to X, right? Which you see under the illumination. It says, normally we don't have illuminated signs, but under special permit, illuminated signs can be granted by this board. As far as the sections you're quoting, 7.5C, and what was in the rejection, C says the following sign types are permitted in the LM, HB, IND districts.
Directional sign.
All exempt sign types. You know, and then it goes on, it says freestanding, and then it says, well, directional signs. One sign displaying the name of the establishment occupying a building at public entrance to the building. Such sign shall not exceed an area determined on the basis of 1 square foot per establishment occupying the building. Interior or exterior illumination permitted, provided the sign is subject to 6A, 76A. So in other words, this, if you wanted this sign per establishment to be illuminated, we can, by special permit, consider the illumination. But as far as the sign goes, the bylaw doesn't say we can issue a special permit to change the
so I-
sign. It doesn't, the town doesn't give us the authority.
I mean, could you weigh in on why the building department would have rejected them? I mean, because obviously we're here for the special permit per their instructions.
I see that.
Yeah, that's,
I don't think it's properly before us.
you know, it's kind, it's strange, because obviously most businesses need some sort of wayfinding directionals. I mean, that's, and we've done multiple stores in this town.
We never did anything
Yeah.
for the other one, for the, I don't
Well, it
remember
all
doing
depends
any-
how it reads. It's, I'll give you a simple example, like, if you look at these Dunkin' Donuts signs, they have the cup icon on them. A lot of towns will tell us to drop the cup icon because it's considered advertising. So we drop the cup icon and you have wayfinding, and it simplifies it. And then it's not, doesn't fall under your sign categories. Now, maybe he thought because it had the cups,
'Cause you're-
I can't, I don't have an answer for that.
Well, you are, I mean, yeah.
Why can we not use this?
No, we can, I don't know why, if there's something else he's
Use what?
looking at. It's directional, the
7.3.
directional signs are
Yeah.
exempt.
7.3?
Yeah.
Directional signs are
Or
exempt.
exempt.
Yeah. I'm not sure why you rejected it,
Yeah, unless I'm missing something.
unless I'm missing something.
Well, if the board
Just see you later.
agrees, agrees to them, then I guess we just reappro, bring it back up to them, and
Maybe.
there's no opposition to it.
One,
all the
directional
other-
signs are for safety purposes, I mean.
Yeah,
it's-
but
it's
they're
a-
all, only one is, it says see you soon directional, but it's not really directional.
Yeah, and we eliminated that one too, just for the record. Yeah,
See, all
that
the
one's
rest
been
are
removed
directional
from
then.
the scope.
Right?
So you don't wanna see them soon.
No, it's actually, there's no iron, right?
Should
I
have
think
said
it's-
spend more
Don't
later.
leave.
Yes. Yeah, that's another one too, is, they also have a program where it's welcome back, see you soon instead of enter exit, to make it a little more personal. And a lot of communities will make us go back to the traditional enter exits because it classifies as
Yeah, because
wayfinding.
ours does
Yeah,
list as directional right in there.
But it is, it's important, because when people are pulling in, you don't want to pull in into the first entrance. You want them to pull up ahead to come into the other entrance to follow the drive-through and, stay in the Dunkin' business as opposed to
Something
retail.
weird is in the drive-through section.
No.
Did you look through that? No?
I didn't see anything.
It's almost, we probably shouldn't even put them in as an application, it's,
Yeah, they should have been in site plan. No?
well, this, Bill, the whole site plan was approved. There's also traffic signs, which we confirmed with the building commissioner, that were all set. It was these, because they were, I'm gonna say wayfinding, that,
They were what?
well, I'm calling them wayfinding signs, the Dunkin' Donut directional signs.
But they're
They-
not on the site plan?
They are, but, let me see. I got a copy of it here.
Directory.
Well, he's just-
We've,
he's-
what's on the
oh,
site
he's
plan is the
thinking
regulatory traffic.
Directory, not
That's where they should be, I would think.
Yeah, I have a copy of
Standing
it.
sign.
I thought we had drive-throughs.
What, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
are you asking for a directory sign, or just a,
Well, I'm calling it a directional
The
sign.
directions,
not
they have a little
direct-
Dunkin'
yeah.
Donuts logo on them.
Maybe that's the
No, I
issue.
know, that's
Yeah,
directory.
what we'll call it a directional sign, just for the sake of,
It's a directional sign. Yeah.
Or-
directory sign?
that's why I was saying wayfinding, because it's sometimes a little more, it's not a directory sign.
Yeah, right. I think we,
No, these aren't on the original plans. The only things that would have been on the original plans would have been the regulatory traffic signs and the two pylons, which had been previously approved, and they're separate applications, but these were rejected on the Dunkin'. We're doing this in phases. The first phase is obviously the Dunkin' Donuts, and that's been approved minus these directionals. And then the retail space, that pylon's been approved, but that's in the application process now.
Okay. Wall sign
All right, so we'll just say those are directories for now, but what's the, and then the wall sign?
The wall sign is here.
Where's that?
And we got
got
rejected
some
on
stuff
that,
that's
so we're
all-
thinking, we'd like to consider that a graphic, not a sign.
Which one?
The wall sign, the cup icon.
Where are those?
That is on the north elevation.
Which ones are approved on the site plan already?
2 wall signs. Are we, you talking the building or the
Coffee
site,
cup.
you talking the building or the site sign? The directions?
Any signs you got on, how many you got?
All right,
approved on
for
site
the
plan?
Dunkin' Donuts, a freestanding pylon, 2 wall signs. The awnings aren't considered signs because there's no graphics on them. And then, obviously, the drive-through system, which would be a clearance bar, drive-through menu board, and that's what's been approved.
One drive-through board, 2 walls, 2
Yeah,
pylons?
and when I say the drive-through board, I'm referring to the menu.
Yeah. And that's on site plan, done?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. Now, so when we went to apply for the signage permits, we added the directional signs, obviously because we have to do that for Dunkin' Brands because it's part of the package image that they want us to propose. And it was also on the architectural plans. Again, it's to get people into the drive-through when they pull into they'll follow the sign to the Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
Retail space will have their own entrance. And so we proposed them. So, the original, when you first did the site plan, the Dunkin' probably came after, right, when you had Aroni and put the plans together? Okay, yeah.
But if donkeys change up on you after site plan?
No, well, you have 2 sets of plans. You have the site plans, and then, once the Dunkin' Donuts goes in, the Dunkin' Donut architects come in, and then they put their, the signage and so forth on it.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got.
I have an artist rendering of the site that you think might help anybody, kind of give you an idea of, doesn't show all the entrances, but it,
I miss the storage building,
yeah.
like a hole in the head. I don't know why we can't use that exempt section.
For that we can.
Yeah, I think for the directionals, we can use that.
Directions I'm okay with, I'm just trying to do the
Yeah.
wall sign.
I don't think the see you soon counts.
No,
Because
they
you
got rid of that.
took it
Yeah.
He
off.
took it off.
But I mean, the other one's a safety issue.
And what are the other, so this cup is, you're saying, it's more the exterior
Yeah,
painting of the building?
The cut, I can tell you why
Wall
the
graphic.
building inspector rejected that because he considered it a 3rd wall sign.
And what
so-
are the other 2?
The other 2, they're what they call cloud-style signs. It basically says Dunkin' Donuts, it's got the cup icon, and that's on 2 elevations. So if you're looking at from Post Road, there's a set of wall signs which has been approved. And then if you're coming from Route 1, there's another set on that monolith that goes up, which I can show you here.
Give it to that, please.
This may be beneficial. So this wall sign's been approved, and then there's another one on this elevation, Route 1's over here.
And the graphic is here?
Yeah, and that's the cup icon. And that's more, it's more for
Sorry.
aesthetics, it's not really, it just
So,
looks nice, it
sign.
pulls
Yeah, I
the
mean-
building together.
Sign, graphic.
You guys can hold on to that for me.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it, I don't care how you want to figure out.
He applied under 75C, right?
Well, that's what he cited them under.
Who wrote this up?
They wrote that up, but this is the original, here's the denial right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the denial?
Let me try my paper. Whatever, here's another one.
So he got denied under those sections. For this. Ground, because you're only allowed a couple. But if they're directional, you can use section 3, I think.
Yeah.
Permitted in all
I
zoning
think,
districts,
yeah. That's
I
what
mean,
think.
even then, I would say that that's an, it says the limitation on the number of signs permitted does not apply to door or wall-mounted directory, incidental, identification, or portable signs. I mean, I think the cup
That's
on
it,
the
I think
wall,
that-
the back is pretty incidental to.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we're
Yeah, I would say
raising
that,
ground here by.
so I'm just looking at the definitions, and I see a sign is a permanent or temporary structure or part thereof. So it is a part thereof because it's, painting on the wall itself, attached thereof, or painted. So it says specifically, if you paint on a wall, that's a sign. Okay, which displays or includes any letter, words, model, banner, flag,
Look at the word
pennant, insignia. This, I would think, could be an insignia device. Or representations used as, or which is in the nature of an announcement, direction, or advertisement. And I would say this insignia is clearly an advertisement on the building. That's sign generally, okay? Then it goes on, the definitions, and breaks down different types of signs. Directional, we talked about directory, it was different from directional. And then wall. Wall is a sign affixed to the exterior building, exterior wall of a building, and extending not more than 15 inches therefrom. Well, I would say a painting, and I'm assuming that this is painted on, that's not affixed.
It's dimensional, and it mounts to the wall, pin mounted. I mean, because it's an ephes surface, like stucco, so that wall cup.
sticker.
Yeah, it's basically a pin mounted, made out of PVC. But we have a solution for that. What if we drop the DD and just leave it as the cup icon? I mean, it's a funny thing. It's like if you've seen the awnings going up, go back in a few years in the Duncan program when they had the DDs on them.
Yeah, I would say,
How you look at it, it's.
okay, so one, I wasn't sure if it was affixed. You're telling me it's affixed, so it could be qualified as a wall. But there's also sign identification, which says a sign used simply to identify the name, the address, and title of a individual family or firm occupying the premises upon which the sign is located, or to give information such as time and temperature.
That's like yours, Cranky.
Yeah, see, the thing with this cup icon too, it's not gonna bring people in off the street. It's just really makes that side of the building look a little nicer,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
it's not gonna, it's too far back to serve the purpose of advertising. But I understand how the bylaw reads too, it's not.
Definition.
Yeah, I would say
Which is pretty basic.
identification. Freestanding signs. Ground signs. Doesn't list advertising.
Okay. You want to read this? There's a million.
How large is that? I assume it's more than 10 square feet.
Yeah, I can give you that.
What the big cup was?
It stands 13 feet, 9 feet wide. The square footage is about 121 square feet, 121.6, what is calculated. And that's on the box. You would see the wall colors inside. I mean, it's a stick type of graphic, so you would see the wall behind it. But if you box it in, though, it is 121.6 square feet.
And the other two supposed wall signs, which has the name of the business?
Yeah, I don't have those drawings with me because they were pre-approved, but they met the code requirements.
In terms of square footage?
Yes. Yeah, they've been permitted already.
Let's see, area determined by the basis of 1 square foot.
Yes, I think what the building inspector, how he interpreted it was allowed 2 wall elevations per the code. This, in his interpretation, was a 3rd wall sign, on a 3rd sign on a 3rd elevation. And therefore, he had to deny.
All for making the buildings nicer looking. You could pay some kids to go do some nice graffiti that says Dunkin' Donuts. I don't think that
Yeah,
would.
because a wall sign is,
I don't need any more competition, so.
yeah, a wall sign is 10% of the building facade or not to exceed 100 square feet. So if those signs are greater than 10 square feet, because there's a identification sign, but an identification sign, which would be like the name of the business, but that would only not to exceed 10 square feet. So that's not going to help you, because I assume that the name sign, because what I'm saying is they identify different types of sign, wall, identification, other types.
Yeah.
So if one of these could qualify as an identification sign, then that would mean less wall sign, and then this other graphic could qualify as one of your wall signs.
Yeah, well, as far as wall signs go, I believe the location has met the criteria and the allowable, because like I said, we've already got the permit for the other 2 wall signs. So
2 walls.
I think in his mind, the building inspector, this was
It's a
a
third
third.
wall.
Yeah, and I keep sticking to that, and it all depends too. I mean, if we don't want to call it a sign, we could call it a graphic. I mean, I guess I'd need some direction from the board. We could take the DD out, make it a graphic, and maybe it's a non-issue. Like I said, he interpreted it as a sign because we applied for it as a sign permit. I mean, sometimes when you go for these when you can put a sign package together, it's a little tricky how you do it. Like, I'll just use awnings for an example. If there's no graphics on an awning, I don't put it in. I don't submit it as a sign, as an application, because it's not considered a sign. If it's got graphics on it, then I consider it a sign and I submit it. The awning should, if no graphics, they should be part of the original plans that the GC had submitted. You just have to be the vendor that makes it, so it's tricky how you read the codes.
One sign attached parallel on up to 2 exterior walls of an establishment, provided that such walls face a public way. This doesn't face a public way,
Well,
right?
right. I mean,
I don't think it qualifies. That faces a public way, maybe the other side faces a public way, but there's only one public way here.
It's something that crossed our mind too, because you're on the property at that point, you're not,
Yeah.
so you'd almost think like, does it warrant it? But again, like I said, we're here because of the rejection, so.
You got
yeah, I don't know. I'm fine.
Can
I
you see
mean,
the pic for a second?
again, I don't,
They have no problem
I have
with
no
6
problem.
directionals.
No. Oh, did you have a problem with the coffee
No.
cup on the
No.
side there?
But
Makes the building a
to
little
me,
nicer.
the only way I can see us doing anything is for
Not
them
call it a
to
sign.
amend it as an appeal of the rejection.
For what?
If we find that they are in fact compliant with the bylaw, then they could be appealing,
That's fine.
but, see the same guy that reacted the last time?
I'll talk to him.
Because, it doesn't say we can issue a special permit.
Yeah.
The
I think
6
I think the
directional-
easiest thing is to do that and just amend their application to that and just say the signs as proposed all comply with the bylaw and leave it at that.
I think.
Yeah.
I think too.
Okay.
I think too.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, we've done in the past, and we'll talk to the building commissioner, because
Please see
it
the
does not.
protection letter.
Yeah, it's true.
We don't like having to do that, so, but so, because it's the same subject matter we're here, we
Yeah.
would allow you to amend your application,
Okay.
which would, to appeal the decision
Of the building
of the building
inspector.
inspector, which
Yeah.
you would basically ask us to do, and then we would
Yeah.
take it under consideration, so.
So after this meeting, there'll be a letter indicating that we'll just resubmit to the building inspector with that
Yeah.
decision? Yeah, 'cause that's obviously what I do next.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Little out of the norm, but
Yeah,
the cleanest.
it's an
way.
easy one, right?
Okay, it's, as I said, the directional signs are exempt and it's safety, and the other one is whether it's a sign or not a sign, or just a design on the building, I mean,
To me, I think it's not facing a public way. That's,
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those,
yeah, I mean, because the wall sign, it says, one sign attached parallel on up to 2 exterior walls of an establishment, provided that such walls face a public way or contain a public entrance.
yeah, so I think if we just amend it to an appeal of the decision, and we.
I think we can do that.
I think that's the, we
That's the
have to
best
get
way.
into
well,
the,
it brings you in comfort. Signs are, in every
Okay.
community are a funny
so,
thing, you know,
was
how
that,
they're
was
trying to
that,
do.
did I
was
hear
way
a
too
request?
Way too
Do we have that request?
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
We have a
Okay.
request from the applicant to amend their application to be an appeal from the decision.
Of the building
Building
inspector.
commissioner, building inspector,
Where is that appeal?
we stole
Right
it.
Actually, it's zoning enforcement and,
Right, have it.
That's right there.
Here
We
it is.
stole it. That was dated, just basically dated, that cited this, just so it's clear it was this specifically. Based on the plans as presented, or as applied for.
it's just an appeal of that
Yeah,
decision.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, and I can't speak for the building inspector, I can only tell you the conversation we had with
It's
him.
okay.
He basically, if I go by this, I can't sign off on it, so that's, his hands were tied, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna make a motion to accept the applicant's request to amend their application to be a appeal of the zoning enforcement officer's permit denial. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I
Sue, yep, so you got that? Okay.
And
All right, so now that we have that, and then, we have to withdraw the special permit up to.
we can deny without prejudice.
Yeah, we'll deny without prejudice, the special permit.
All right, thank you,
Well,
everyone.
we're not
Oh.
completely done, but we're done.
Get
So,
so
wait,
excited.
wait, hold on.
Motion,
Well, let me go, we had some comments in here.
okay.
I don't think we had any comments, but, yeah. All right, police department, had no concerns with regard to traffic. Fire department had no comments. Planning board, that there's no planning comments. Board of Health, that they have no concerns. Town engineer has requested that the condition of approval be imposed that states the sign shall be placed at a vertical height and lateral location so as to not hinder visibility of patrons using the site. I don't think that's where,
Yeah, they said at
The code
54
does-
inches, and that is a,
that was it. So anybody from the public here to speak on this one tonight? No? Any other comments from board members?
Seems
Okay.
reasonable.
All right.
So I'll make a motion on behalf of the applicant to deny the special permit without prejudice and to approve his appeal of the zoning enforcement officer.
I'll second that. All right. Jane seconded. She beat me to it. She's too fast. All in favor?
That new game.
Aye.
Aye.
all right,
All right.
all set,
Thanks,
thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Have a good night.
Have a good evening, thanks.
Yes,
I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
no.
I'm gonna run, you're done,
Three of us,
right?
right.
Do they know there's only 3?
Yeah, I don't even, yeah, well, I think they do. We're not closing it tonight.
Oh, okay.
I'm running to the bathroom.
All right, highway, I have to go home and get the dogs and load up the car.
How many dogs do you have
down.
in her? How many dogs?
Just 2. But one's 9 months.
Do you stay there winter and summer?
Me?
Yeah.
Most of the time. Usually on Wednesdays I've been staying up. Today I had to be to work at 6. I'm tired.
Down there?
And I was telling Jane I haven't had to be to work that early, and I have a new phone, so I set the alarm. So of course I wake up like every hour wondering if the alarm's gonna go off.
I know it.
I was like, oh, 2:30,
gosh, that's
oh,
what Mark
3:30.
does. Mark
I
does.
hate those nights.
Have your husband call you.
He's asleep. He leaves for work at like 10 minutes to 6,
Or what time do you need to be awakened? What time,
like 5:15.
will you be awake then?
Yeah, He probably
Well,
would
then
be.
why don't you, that's
I
what I
know,
do.
I should have him.
That's exactly what I do. I
I didn't
put the
even
phone
think of
next to
that.
my bed,
I
yeah.
did. I woke up like every hour wondering if my, you know how you
No.
do those nights?
No.
Oh, God, I
No,
hate
just
those.
ask him to cry when he gets up.
That would be too
Yeah.
nice. He wouldn't mind either.
No, I don't think he,
My husband is a
doesn't mind.
flip phone person. Oh, my God, we're lucky if it's charged.
So is my husband.
Really?
That's
Oh,
funny,
my
they
God.
probably have a lot.
Well, at where he works, he's
think
not
you
allowed
can-
to have a phone.
I think BIOS provides for wake-up calls. Looked at it for a while.
Oh, I wouldn't want to depend on that. He
He
really,
can't have a
Same as
phone
your
at
phone.
work, not even allowed to bring in the building.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
where does he work?
his hands can be Air Force Base. Yeah, it's all like, you know, somebody spying and all that crap. Do you want
He's
these?
got a,
I'm
no,
taking
I'm all
them.
set, thanks.
Do you want these?
No, thanks.
Do you want them? All right, I'm out, folks, I promise, I'm leaving.
Have a good night.
I'm hitting the highway.
And you'll be asleep at? By
10.
10.
Yep.
Take that long?
1 hour.
A girl after my own. Listen, you have 2 dogs. How'd you like a third dog?
Why, what kind you got?
I have a black lab that
That's
belongs
what
to
I've been
my-
looking for, how old?
I'm actually gonna
6.
go back in his really quick.
I have a 9 and a 9 months.
This
Really?
dog, yeah,
It's a boy?
it's a girl.
I just had my black lab boy died in April.
What?
My black lab boy died in April, that's why I have this new one. Oh my God, it's so much work. How's your dog? Do you still have it?
No, she
I
put
figured
her
she
down
was in
for a
tough
couple of years
shape.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Really bad towards the end.
It's tough, isn't it weird to have none? I haven't done that, but
Oh, yeah.
I hear it's weird.
Kevin is saying all the time, you need a dog, you need a dog.
You got no life already.
I'm like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think so.
you need the dog.
Right, you know he's been staying with us.
Who is?
Our son,
Really?
Kevin. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Your son Kevin or his son Kevin?
It's Mark's son,
My
but
son Kevin, yes, your son, yeah.
All right, see you
All
guys.
right, have a good
Get
night.
the dog. But
Yeah.
then again, when he goes,
yeah, and he's
if and
gonna take the
when
dog.
they have it, then it becomes yours. That's what happened to me.
We're just gonna wait for her to return. No, not Sue, our secretary. Yeah. If she recuses herself, we're in trouble.
Well, actually, I'm asking her to hunt around a bit for an A&R plans.
Yeah.
Don't rush it.
It gives us some time to review everything again, get up to speed.
I might as well give you a copy of these again, because I'm just carrying them around for no reason otherwise.
Thank you. Yep. All right. We'll continue on with my fingers. Next up tonight, we have a continuation of case number 21-16. Applicants Michael Manzo regarding 100 Elm Street, 125 West, and parcels on Elm and West Street. Welcome back. So, before we start, we have 3 members tonight. The plan is to hear everything. 2 members can listen to this Mullen Rule, and we won't close it with just 3 members here tonight
Yes.
procedurally, but they'll be able to basically open and if possible, close it right away at the next one, but they'll have to, do the Mullen rule and finish it up next time. But
I understand.
If we get through it tonight, we should be able to immediately open and then close it, and, get to it the next one. I don't
Great.
think it's gonna, you have to go through it again.
For the record, I'm Mark Bobrowski. My office is in Concord, and I represent the Manzo Companies. I did have a conversation by email with Liz Dennehy, and she told me that Mr. DeSalle and Mr. Foley could not be here. I agreed to go along with it as long as she assured me that they would exercise their Mullen privilege, and she said that they would, so I'm counting on that. Tell me now if I'm wrong.
But she can't assure you they'll be at the next meeting, though.
Well, no,
I heard-
but
I know you heard that before.
Well, she did assure me that they would familiarize
No,
themselves with
they
the
will-
record.
they will-
And I know they haven't missed another meeting, so
I
they're
already
good
checked,
there.
so we are good with that, yep.
Well, I just want to take advantage of the opportunity here to refamiliarize you with this. What we're trying to do, pretty simple, we're trying to substitute new plan for the 1999 plan that I just put on your plate there. That plan accompanied a 2000 special permit granted by this board. That special permit allowed the Manzo Company's predecessor in interest to have a 534-car parking lot, all for a fee, and the plan accompanied the special permit. The special permit was one of a kind from back in the day. It had a list of the tenants that was used basically to figure out how many parking spaces were needed, and I'm sure within 45 days of the list being created, 2 of those tenants were gone, and over the next 16, 17 years, I'll bet the rest of them have gone. So what we're trying to do is modernize the special permit because, as you know, there's a companion application here, nothing to do with us, but it is sponsored by the Corcoran Group, and they're proposing an apartment complex with some satellite commercial space, which the Manzo Companies is carving out of their property in order to make that happen. So the simple fact of the matter is that we want a special permit for the following 3 things. Number 1, substitute the new plans of record, which were prepared by David Kelly, who's sitting behind Mr. Manzo, who's in the front row. And David will take the mic when I'm done to tell you about the plan in more detail. We want to lower the number of 534 parking spaces under the control of the Manzo Company to 261 spaces. Obviously, if we carve the donut hole out and sell it to Corcoran, that's going to include some parking spaces that will go with it. So we're going from 534 under TMC's control down to 261. That 261, I should point out, is 47 more than the minimum required by the zoning bylaw. That number is 214. And the third thing we want to do is be able to lease the 47 surplus parking spaces for a fee, and that's allowed by special permit, which is why there's a special permit hearing tonight. That's the one that really triggers the special permit requirement. One important thing to remember is that all of the parking that we have, that we're keeping, is going to be rated at Category 4 in your parking table. Category 4 is for office space, and it's essentially the minimum is 1 parking space for each 500 feet of gross floor area on the ground floor and 1 per 1,000 on upper floors. So I gave you a chart in an earlier application package, and it shows the number of square feet we have on the lower floor and the number of square feet on the upper floor, and that combines, once you multiply it by either 500 or 1,000 square feet, to 214 total spaces. The changes, as I said, are due to the Corcoran project, but I want to point out that lots 5, 2, and 3 will remain under the control of the Manzo Company, and they do not change. Those parking lots are shown on the 1999 plan that I gave you. If you look at that plan, you can see it's a 4-page plan, but if you browse through those 4 pages after the cover sheet, you can see that lots 5, 2, and 4, they're not numbered the same way on the old plan, I'm sorry, 5, 2, and 3 remain exactly the same. The Corcoran Company's location will be here. There is a new lot, Lot 6, that was added after the 1999 plan was prepared and the 2000 permit was granted. The predecessor in interest of TMC acquired that, and when the Manzo Companies bought it, it went along for the ride. So none of the old plans show Lot 6, and that's really the one important difference that we have between then and now. We've added that new lot. Lot 6 has 95 spaces. Lots 5 and 2 combined have a total of 204 spaces. And Lot 3 has a total of, I believe it's 135? 135. Lot 3 is used for Mortgage Master primarily. 2 and 5 would be used for the commercial tenants and customers of TMC, and Lot 6 would fill the same need. We heard a lot of buzz at the Planning Board meeting on the 19th about whether or not MBTA commuters will be displaced as a result of this. David will talk a little bit more about distances when he stands up. Yes, they will be displaced, but there's adequate MBTA parking in underutilized lots that will now have user participation really for the first time in some cases. We think that the scare that this will somehow affect downtown parking is easily manageable. Certainly if the town adopts a more aggressive enforcement policy in terms of making people use the MBTA lots. I used to live in Mansfield years ago, and that train station was a source of the same kind of aggravation you have here. But a little bit of enforcement goes a long way. Certainly Mr. Manzo knows how to keep scofflaws from parking in his lots if they're not paying his fee. He gives them a couple of warnings, and then the tow truck shows up. So if what's good for the private goose is good for the public gander. The lots 2 and 5 will not be divided between a shared use of Manzo and Corcoran. I think there's 31 spaces reserved for Manzo, and the other 174 would be for the Corcoran group, but it'll be by stickers. So Manzo will sell 31 stickers, Corcoran will sell 174 stickers. There's not going to be a fence between the two separating the uses. They'll all be commingled, if you will. Mr. Kelly, David Kelly, is going to talk about the parking today, and particularly with respect to a memo that Maggie Walker generated at the end of November that we've responded to, and a little bit about drainage as well to give you the lay of the land for these parking lots that we will be retaining. And without more, I'll turn it over to him. If
I'm going to ask, but more parking quite before I even start, just so I understand. So
Okay.
the ones in the red are is it the red that Manzo is going to keep?
Well,
I just can't,
yeah.
the number, because the numbers don't match up with the plan.
You're right. 2 and 5.
Oh, 2 and 5, okay, yeah, all right, okay. I
Now,
didn't see it.
the 5 is shown in yellow.
That's fine, yep.
But it's all part of one lot with 204 spaces, 31 under Manzo's control, 174 under
All
Corcoran's
right, that's
control.
my numbers weren't adding up to
Right.
what, so that,
Can we have that one more time?
173.
so 2 and 5 is 204 spaces total.
Right.
And then the way that's broken down is you have, it's
31 stickers.
31.
And the difference will be in Corcoran
Right,
stickers.
okay.
And then 3 is not changing. That's an
One-
existing lot that's
135.
primarily occupied by Mortgage Master,
Right, and that's 135.
right?
Yep.
6 is, what do we call that, Mike?
We just call it the on-street lot, 95 spaces.
All right, that's how you get your 261, those three. Okay, I was, that much
You'll-
clearer now.
You'll see Lot 7, and that's called the S Building, and the S Building is currently vacant. And, if we, in a pinch, had to produce more parking, it might be possible to do it, but we don't need it, so it's not currently a
That's
part
just
of
a
the
building,
proposal.
though. There's
It
no
is a
parking,
building
right.
today. right.
There's not, yeah, that 7 is just, there's no parking there.
But on the ground floor of that building, I think there's a projection that we could generate. If I had my glasses, I could see it starts with a 4. I think it's 40
Yeah,
spaces.
about 40 spaces.
Yeah.
Parked inside the building.
But that's not currently in our proposal to do that. Corcoran, as you will recall, is proposing to build a structure parking on the ground floor under its residential component, and that's because it's required by your zoning. Your zoning says residential has to be 3.5 times the space of a commercial use, and they've chosen to use the garage as their commercial use, but that's their application. I'll let them talk.
So the only spaces that would be MBTA now that wouldn't be in the future are those 95 spaces on lot 6.
I think, go ahead,
No,
Mike.
Or is there
if I
more?
may, Mr. Chairman.
Talking to the mic, Mike,
We have
or
maybe-
you you won't be heard.
We could hear you.
You can hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right.
For audience.
You need it?
Okay.
All right, the
All right,
TV
thank you.
needs it.
The MBTA currently parks in our lots in what is shown in the orange as Lot 5,
Yeah,
Lot 4, and Lot 6. Lot 4 will be part of the Corcoran development, 1 and 4, and that's a separate application. Lot 2 and 5, the commuter parking will be eliminated from lots 2 and 5. And there has been a parking study done for the town at the town manager's request. And really what happens, it's pretty simple. This parking, which, by the way, we charge $4 a day, will go almost entirely over to the empty MBTA lot over here, which also charges $4 a day. So it's displacing the parkers here and moving them over here.
and with the MBTA, how does that,
The MBTA, we lease these out on a daily basis, first come, first serve, to commuter parkers going into the city, or well, taking the train. As does the MBTA, and the MBTA has some other little lots scattered about over here as well. But in the traffic report, you probably or may have a copy of that. This is mostly a vacant lot, not quite. The front part is parked. And it goes into the detail of where the commuters will go to.
yeah, I mean, clearly, I understand the concern people would have on that, but, in the same sense, it's
Yeah.
private property.
David
so.
is going to show you a sketch that shows the relative distance of the commuter lots that will be now utilized to the train stop and the downtown to the train stop, and surprisingly.
Sorry to interrupt you, David. I didn't want to steal your thunder to start, but go ahead.
So when you factor in the synergy that having almost 200 new units will bring to the downtown and measure that effect on the downtown, the problems that will be short-term with regard to possible parking.
If you're going through site plan review on that instead of boring us with all that will, we would need to know that worked.
Well, just so you know, we're taking the position, at least so far with the planning board, that because we're not changing lots 2, 5, 3, that these are basically grandfathered lots and parking spaces. And your bylaw does have an interesting provision in Section 9 that talks about non-conforming parking lots. Says if you're not changing it in such a way as to increase the degree of nonconformity, you're good to go. That's pretty much exactly what we're doing. We do readily acknowledge that Lot 6 was not on the original plan, so.
That may be, I guess under that situation, that would be I would feel if you're changing the lot and selling off some and having the benefit, look at the end of the day, I think we'd all want to make sure if anything got through, it was done properly.
Yeah.
If we're getting the benefit of a new one or an old special permit that's amended, making sure, that there wasn't going to be a drainage issue on a parking lot which would render the spaces unusable would be important to this board to make sure we
I
saw. So,
But I think Maggie Walker's memo hasn't highlighted anything of that kind, so, but we'll.
we would, right, so if that isn't,
I mean, emergency drainage matters, that kind of thing. We don't have existing conditions like
right,
that.
if every space was 7 feet in today's world, we may say, we
When will
really
they
need-
ever?
That's what I'm saying, I mean, so it is important to us to make sure we're not causing any detriment, or we're not doing something that would, cause some of the spaces to not be used, but
Understood.
I'm sure you'll address.
But we'd like to come back
have it.
after we meet with the planning board.
So you want to wait
Yeah.
till the
Well,
March 1st?
I think it's important that we button down the
Wanna
plans
hear
so
the
that they
first?
match up.
We are, but it's
What do we have?
full.
I would like to interject, if there are really two different issues here. One is a new modified special permit. At least in my mind, and I'm not the lawyer, is it better to just move with some move through this process with the ZBA, and that's sort of a parallel process that's happening right now.
Well, the problem that I see is that the planning board may want what they want, and that plan may not match the plan that's of record here, and they really do need to match.
And what
Well,
about that?
and not only that, but we're not looking necessarily at site plan and, you know, the parking sizes, and all I'm concerned about is that once you construct the parking or design the parking so that it meets site plan, is there enough parking left in order to, you know, support this application?
Right.
Right? Because you may go through and you may find out that when you go through that, you lose, you know, 2 or 3.
More, yeah.
You know, or more, maybe
yeah,
there's more,
yeah.
you know, so, I mean, that's kind of where my mind is you're asking for so many on a fee basis, is that inventory available? And that's only after site plan kind of gets through that process, so that's why I'm thinking we do kind of follow that a little bit.
And that's why I asked for a date after
So,
the
right,
15th.
but you're still going through site plan.
Oh, yeah, we'll be
Right.
back on the 16th.
Right, for the parking,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
So I do, it's like any subdivision, if you've got a definitive plan and the Conservation Commission is acting on it at the same time, you better have the same plan at the end of the day.
Right.
True.
Because that's
Right,
what-
so, right, we
Yeah.
wouldn't want you to say, we want to know if your drainage took away 10 spaces,
Right.
for instance, to just know what that was, so we could say,
And I will tell you frankly that these are open questions with the planning board, so we need to get an answer from them, and if we come back at the beginning of the month of March,
yeah, it may be that, March 1st we have a long meeting that night, a couple long cases, so it would be it'd be a lot better for you and us for it to be the 15th, so we could give it the attention,
you will be seeing Corcoran on the
15th.
15th
Yeah,
of this month.
yeah.
We're not on that agenda.
No, and I don't know how big full, I mean, that.
No, I mean, we're not seeing the planning board till the
Right,
next day.
so I mean,
so.
if that, it would be, you may not get on till 11 o'clock on,
I'm a veteran of the Franklin ZBA during the 1980s. I know what 11
I
o'clock
know,
looks
yes,
like.
I know,
Right.
yes.
So I'm happy to come.
But
on the-
Mr. Manzo looks tired right now, so I
No,
don't
no,
want
I get energized later at night. So, and the Dunkin' Donuts will be bringing in coffee once they get their signs squared away.
as long as you know how to get in and out, we'll be okay.
Right, right.
I would say respectfully, if we could get on that long meeting, and if it gets too long, we just,
Yeah, we'll just continue it till the next.
Yeah, it's,
Maybe somebody will pull too, so,
I don't
Huh?
know,
not likely?
no. What's on the 15th?
Nothing.
No.
Is it Wall Street Development on the 1st?
Well, they could be, potentially.
Yeah.
But again, I have no problem putting you on the 1st, but
Okay.
but it's a long meeting, and you know how they are for
Yeah.
people on the board, and
Let's go and see if something pulls it won't be as long a meeting. We'd rather have
What else
that.
is, what else is on first? Let's take a look.
what? Would you rather be the 15th?
Doesn't matter to me.
By 9:30, Jane,
No, it
she's-
doesn't matter to me, but I'm thinking about Sue too, she's got a
uh,
track too.
Well, Sue can't sit on this.
Oh, that's true, that's
Yeah.
true.
I don't know what they're in front of us for, the Wanderers.
That's for the septic, to go from like 8 to 12, I think, people.
What is on there?
Stone
What is
Street's
on the
a
first?
special subdivision, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
What is on that night?
I don't know, remember, we have Stone Street, Home for Little Wanderers, Corvo continue, you have the Mullen Corvo continuation, and McSherry Brothers, the Pleasant Street, you have to Mullen Rule that too. That was that 20,
Right.
whatever, 24 units that you guys was here talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did a very good job, I might add.
I'd prefer to go on the 15th. Okay, I'm happy to put you on the 1st.